This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks all around the world. But here now the news for February 20th, 2023. Although Disney is refusing to offer, quote, even 1 cent as a wage increase in their negotiations with cast members, they are offering cast members 50% off merchandise purchases. The discount is available online at Shop Disney through February 26, 2023, and at Disney Parks through March 7th. Cast members traditionally receive a 40% off merchandise discount during the holiday season that ended this week. That used to be a 50% discount, by the way. They lowered it several years ago. Now they're giving them 50% now. And of course, the discount is coming on the heels of some controversy regarding wages for cast members who protested in November against Disney's reluctance to raise wages amid inflation concerns and the rise on cost of living in the Orlando area. They had signs that said full-time can't buy diapers and full-time can't buy formula, among others. Quote, give us a livable wage, that's all we want, said Nicholas Maldonado, a cast member at an outlet store, told Spectrum News. We love what we do, but how can we continue to make magic if we're continuing to struggle? That was his response to this, them offering a discount instead. This is, again, the Disney PR department at its finest, attempting again to bury this news story, to bury these union negotiations, right? We talked about a couple weeks ago. The first real negative story on a Friday night, late on a Friday night, Disney decided to drop the news. They dropped the whole backstory post about Tiana's Bayou Adventure. They put out a full ride POV of TRON, which I remember the last time Disney put out a POV ride video of anything. That's kind of why half of us on YouTube exist. All that done on a Friday night just to bury that story. What was funny is after this, not 1 cent more and then the union not returning to the table to negotiate the next day, what I thought was really funny is the Disney Parks blog spent most of the next day posting cast member related stories. And then on Saturday, they dropped the cast 50% discount, right? So, applying some logic for those of us who work on the web, if you were to search for the latest news about cast members, if you had a number of stories that had the word cast member in them and in their title and such that had been released after all those cast member union negotiation stories, those would show up in a news feed and then thus begin to bury the union negotiation story. So that's what this is really all about. I can't imagine anyone who can't afford to really live is looking for that 50% merchandise discount. Maybe if they're going to flip merchandise, which by the way isn't allowed, you're not supposed to do that as a cast member. But I mean, what is Disney leaving them to do at this point? It's a slap in the face. The 50% off, the Parks blog and the PR department trying to bury this is disgraceful. It is disgraceful, and we're going to keep pushing this. And like I told you last week, if you haven't seen the show from Friday, my longest and most heated rant ever, I think it went for 20 minutes. On this topic. It's time to put the pressure on folks. If you see, like today, I opened TikTok and one of the first TikToks I got was a promoted TikTok for Walt Disney World that said, how should we celebrate the 50th with all the special food? I comment underneath and said, you should celebrate the 50th by giving cast members a livable wage. That's a great thing to do. So if you see Disney Parks, Walt Disney World, the Disney accounts on social media posting something, go underneath those and let them know how you feel. Hijack the stories they want to publicize with the one they don't. That's the best way, I think, to handle this until something is done, until Disney finally buckles to the union and at least meets them in some way on this agreement, right? That's what I think is the best thing to do. Of course, just like we do with Country Bears, which worked very, very well. Write letters, write emails. Get it. Let it be known how you feel about this in defense of cast members who just want a livable wage. This is, as I've said before, it is the most profitable arm of the most profitable division of the Walt Disney Company, Walt Disney World is. And the fact that we are fighting with cast members about, $18 now versus $18 later, but why don't we just do it now? Why don't we just do it now? This is the cash cow of the company. It is not these cast members' fault that you put too much money into streaming, that you spent too much on a Fox deal that is, in a lot of ways, amounted to almost nothing for you. It's not their fault that your other divisions continue to make mistakes, and your management, for that matter. It's not their fault, right? This division makes money. Invest in the future of this division now. Keep these good people, right? Entice new people to come. You still have a work shortage. You are still short cast members. You need culinary and security and all these other jobs, lifeguards. You need to fill all these roles. Who wants to come work for you when they see you publicly fighting with your cast members for $1 or $2? When Universal in the middle of the week was just like, wow, Disney's being silly. Let's just announce $17 an hour as our starting wage, right? Do the right thing. This is only going to get messier and dirtier and publicly much, much uglier the longer this goes on. Someone at Disney World, someone in management needs to stand up and push this in the right direction. Guys, please do it. I won't rant anymore on today's show. If you want to hear me go on for 20 minutes, go watch the last show. We also isolated it out. It's a separate video here. If you want to watch it cut down, you could do that too. For the first time ever over the weekend, Disney Genie Plus service sold out at Walt Disney World. Actually happened again on Monday, on President's Day. All four Florida parks, say that 4 times fast, showed that the purchase of Disney Genie Plus service is no longer offered for today in the app. If a sellout occurs, sales of Genie Plus will not resume again until the next day. Guests can purchase Genie Plus starting at 12:01 a.m. on the day of their visit. In December, we saw Genie Plus sell out at Disneyland Resort for the first time. The weekend sellout marked the first time ever. Today marked the second time ever that it has sold out. It's, of course, a feature that launched in October of 2021 at Walt Disney World. Genie Plus and Lightning Lane are the paid program that replaced FastPass Plus. A new snack stand has been installed in the courtyard of TRON Light Cycle Run in Tomorrowland at the Magic Kingdom. The stand is on the side of the courtyard closest to the Tomorrowland Speedway. Its gray exterior with a rounded marquee across the front matches the TRON Light Cycle Run aesthetic. When we rode by on the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover, we could see that paving is not yet complete in front of the stand. And we don't know what exactly the stand will sell, but it's worth noting that a light cycle-shaped popcorn bucket was available for TRON Light Cycle Power Run at Shanghai Disneyland when it first opened in 2016. Of course, many of us are hoping that this light-up TRON popcorn bucket is coming to the U.S. finally. It's been gone in Shanghai for a while. When I went in 2019, it was already long gone. But TRON was the only attraction in Shanghai that still had all of its original attraction-specific merchandise. They had phased out all of the Karak merchandise for Roaring Rapids. They had gotten rid of every other ride that had its own merchandise. They had already gone real generic and gotten rid of that stuff, except for TRON. TRON stuff sold well enough that they kept it. So I didn't understand why the popcorn bucket was gone. But man, you would print money with that popcorn bucket here. So here's hoping. I'm going to do the knock. Everyone's always comments about me doing it, but knock on wood, we get this popcorn bucket. And you sell enough of them, you could give cast members a raise, right? You certainly sold enough Genie Plus this week to do it. Anyway. Sonny Eclipse is back at Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe after a prolonged vacation. Sonny can usually be found singing his songs on the stage of Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe at Magic Kingdom, but he went missing in September, then blocked by curtains in mid-January and later disappeared entirely. Sonny and his piano can be lifted into the ceiling at Cosmic Rays when he's on break. This opens up the stage below for dance parties and other entertainment to perform in the quick service restaurant. Sonny's appearance and audio again haven't been changed, but he seems to be moving way better than before. His absence was likely just for maintenance. I will say this, he looks brand new. There are things he's doing, movements he's making, and personality he's showing that I've not seen from that character probably since I was a kid. They clearly did a full rehab on him, and he looks phenomenal. It's like seeing that show for the first time ever. So next time you have 20-something minutes to spare, you're waiting for a lightning lane or something, I would go grab a soda, maybe not necessarily the food. The food's pretty bad at Cosmic Rays, but go grab a soda or something from outside. Go have a seat in there and just watch this. It is basically an unadvertised attraction. It's such a great show. It's so much fun, so well written, so well produced. He's one of the best things about Walt Disney World. He's purely a Walt Disney World thing and one of the very special parts of the Magic Kingdom. Happy to see him back and happy that he's looking better than ever. New Starry flooring has been installed in most of the queue of Space Mountain at the Magic Kingdom. The flooring is a shiny black that reflects the blue neon on the ceiling. It's covered in silvery flecks, so it looks like a night sky. Installation of the flooring is not yet complete, and some spots are still rough around the edges. The flecks aren't shaped like stars, but are different shapes and sizes, a little like confetti. The new flooring is on the entire right side of the queue so far, right up to the load area. The left side, not yet done. It's still just a concrete floor. But no one has really talked about this. All of Tomorrowland has been refreshed ahead of TRON. And now they're doing the exterior of Space Mountain now too, which is great. But no one talks about this. Carousel Progress looks the best it's looked in 20-something years. Buzz Lightyear, they cleaned up to the best of their ability. I mean, it's still not in the greatest shape ever, but it's definitely way better than it was. It looks a lot cleaner than it did. Sonny Eclipse got fixed, fixing the pavement, all this stuff. They have done a very good job with probably not a ton of money. They probably weren't allocated the money they could have been to redo and fix Tomorrowland. But with what they were given, I think whoever was behind this did a tremendous job getting all of Tomorrowland looking great before TRON opened. So kudos to whoever was involved in that. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, The Vacationeer, the engineers of your next magical vacation. Sit back and let their team of vacation planning experts craft your family's next magical Disney trip. The best part is their services are free. Visit wdwnt.travel for details. After being closed since March of 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Enchanted Tales with Belle has finally reopened at the Magic Kingdom. Lightning Lane is now available and signage has been added to the entrance of the queue. Enchanted Tales with Belle is an attraction in Fantasyland that allows guests to enter Belle and her father's cottage, Maurice's workshop, and finally, with the help of a special enchanted mirror, the library of Beast Castle, for a not quite normal meet and greet. It's really more of a show. I think it is one of the most underrated attractions at Walt Disney World. It is so fantastic. The tech, the experience, everything about it is so cute and fun and charming. Happy to have it back. Last month, the EPCOT parking lots were renamed after different Disney characters, but now the land next to the newly named Hey Hey parking lot is being cleared for construction. The land is being cleared for more parking lot space to be created, and the rumor is that it'll also be the new home for rideshare drop-offs such as Lyft and minivans as well. On one side of the clear land, the dirt has been completely flattened. On the other side, an enormous mound of dirt still stands. Here you see the new signage for the Hey Hey parking lot that was recently erected. Yep, that's a real thing. They definitely need to fix the rideshare pickup and drop off at that park, so I'm very happy to hear that that's the next project. Despite being scheduled for refurbishment starting today, Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith is still open for one more day at Disney's Hollywood Studios. It will now be closed as of tomorrow, February 21st, so please be advised of that. It is believed it's going to be general maintenance. The ride desperately needs it. If you've been recently, you know that breakdown spiel plays so often in there, and they kind of try to power through it. Things are real rough in that attraction at the moment. But of course, there are rumors that maybe Aerosmith may be removed, maybe it'll be rethemed. We don't really know at this time, but we'll have to wait and see. The ride is scheduled to reopen this summer. No exact date has been given as of yet. Last month, we announced that Trails End Restaurant will be closing its doors this spring to be reimagined as a marketplace-style quick-service outlet. And now, thanks to the Disney World website, we know when the location will close for good on April 17th, 2023. The reservation system shows April 17th as the first day of the closure. Trails End is typically closed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but beginning April 17th, no further reservations can be made. Previously, Disney stated the restaurant would close later this year. Now we know it will be April 17th. The closure is not expected to be very long. They're not closing Crockett's Tavern, so we assume they're not actually going to really remodel the space. It's just going to be a quick changeover to counter service and grab and go. We don't know what the menu looks like. Obviously, they're not working on the kitchen because the kitchen is connected to the Hoop-de-Doo musical review next door. So my hope is, obviously, if this works out, that's great. If that's what people want. I know a lot of us love Trails End and still miss the buffet. My hope is that if it doesn't work out, then because they're not investing that much in it, it would be real easy to go back, turn back the clock, and go back to buffet a couple months down the road if this whole thing doesn't work out. But we'll wait and see what happens. In early 2021, as part of the Japanese government's expansion of COVID-19 prevention measures, plexiglass barriers were installed at every indoor dining table, along with three-sided plexiglass walls at all cash registers. Now, as more mitigation measures are peeled back in Japan, Tokyo Disney Resort has finally taken down these barriers. As of February 14th, many restaurants around Tokyo Disney Resort have begun removing these plexiglass barriers from tables, although the stands which held them are still glued on for the moment. These barriers were installed in January of 2021, as we mentioned before, as the second state of emergency set in Japan. Meanwhile, late last week, guests also found that barriers around cash registers had also been removed. These three-sided walls previously guarded cast members from guests during the order-taking process, with a small gap covered by another piece of plastic to allow for sound to travel. This is great. I love that slowly Tokyo Disney is returning to normal. I know obviously they're a bit behind in repealing all this stuff compared to us in the U.S., but I'm hopeful that soon enough Tokyo Disney will be back to normal. You know, usually we tell stories about guests behaving badly. This one's a little different. 3 Orange County deputies resigned, according to reports last month, after a sex scandal that revealed at least 2 of them had engaged in sex at Walt Disney World while on duty. A crime line tip last spring led to the 6-month investigation. The 51-page report from the sheriff's office reveals deputies Skylar Miller and Angel Mendoza began a relationship in early 2021. Miller and her supervisor, Corporal Robert Garner, began a sexual relationship later that year. All 3 have now resigned. Miller believed that it was Mendoza who made the anonymous complaints after the 2 of them had a falling out. Investigators confirmed by checking drive cams and body cameras that Miller and Garner had enjoyed each other's company several times while on duty. The cameras have been turned off at the same times in the same locations. Quote, after a comprehensive review of available records, witness testimony, and other acquired evidence, the investigation revealed the following. Based on their sworn testimony, Corporal Garner and Deputy Miller met on numerous occasions throughout 2021 and 2022 and engaged in consensual sexual intercourse while they were on duty in their capacities as sworn members of the Orange County Sheriff's Office. The locations varied and included Deputy Miller's residence, a church parking lot, and Disney Springs. Evidence gathered during this investigation substantiated elements of their testimony, specifically drive cam records which supported timelines and locations. In addition, Axon records confirmed that they deactivated their body-worn cameras at times and locations when their patrol vehicles were in the same geographical areas. The church parking lot was in Windermere. At Disney Springs, they also did the deed in a parking lot. Miller, I love that we wrote that. I love that that's a sentence we had to write on our news website. Miller also confirmed that she and Mendoza had sex while on duty. All 3 deputies again resigned during the investigation, which have resulted in termination. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement could revoke their state law enforcement certifications, of course. What a wild story. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You can support the entire team behind this show by joining the WDWNT Inner Globe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to all of our WIGS members who make the show happen every week. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying, enjoy the rest of your today. Have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
Now on WDWNT TV, it's Boxed In. Boxed In is a casually chaotic show featuring WDWNT personalities Eric Morton and Jill Diffendahl, unboxing Disney merchandise and viewer packages, along with a few friends and a bossy little Pomeranian. So smash that like button, subscribe and comment, and keep up with the new Disney merchandise releases, seasonal releases, festival merchandise, limited edition merchandise, wishables, pins, and more. Join us Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern on WDWNT TV.